Hi there. In this video we are going to be taking a look at this wireless doorbell set model DBS 1001 DC home by Somogyi. I think that's the brand, with LED light. Is the LED light in here to show you that you actually pressed the button and it's sending a command to this, or this have a LED light somewhere near the speaker that illuminates through the holes to also give you a visual sign that your doorbell is actually ringing. And yes, this is IP44, presumably a bit watertight because it has a rubber gasket around here. I've looked at a bunch of others and they had absolutely no gaskets whatsoever. So zero waterproofing. Choose this one. Also because it has batteries and basically you can put these things wherever you want. And yeah, let's open this thing up. The nice type of packaging that I always hated, because you need to cut it, cannot open it up in any other way. If you want to read the info, yeah, approximately 100 meters in open air. That's not happening, obviously, in a house. Polyphonic, 8 well-known melodies, pager, okay. Yeah, you can use it as a pager, because it has battery and you can take it with you, obviously. Learning function, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so flashing blue light indication at the same time with voice signal. So yeah, it will have some LED somewhere. 433.9 megahertz. 2 AA batteries for the doorbell in each of these two units. And for the push button, 3 volts, that round flat battery that computer BIOSes use. And it's included. These two, actually 4 in total for both of them, are not included. Anyway, let's get this out of the box now. Prepared some batteries for these two things. The screws that we have in here are for this, if you want to actually attach them to the wall, or you can fully take out this lip here and they just are freestanding. Yes, not really good freestanding, but still freestanding. But I will presumably attach them to the wall. One, I think, inside of the house, if it has enough volume for the whole house, and one on the outside of the house. I've seen that it's good for the person pushing the button to actually hear the bell himself, that he or she knows that it's actually ringing. If you just push a button and you don't hear anything, you get a chance that they will push the button a few times just to make sure, and I hate that. So one will be somewhere outside of the house so we can hear it in the whole yard, let's say like that. Let me show you the instructions in English just for a little bit. They are all in here. Quickly go through them. Okay, that's about it. So, first thing that we need to do, in theory at least, remove this from under the battery, so the battery will make contact inside of the push button. And the LED lit up for 1 second, so the battery made contact. And yes, they tell us to not put this in direct rain. I hate that. If it's like this and you put water on it, you show water on it, make it waterproof. What the actual... So do I need to build a protection on top of this? Then why didn't you make it better waterproof? Hopefully it will survive in the rain, because I have no protection over it and I cannot really make one. I think. Could I? Maybe I will make one. Oh, who knows, but I hate it. It should be fully waterproof by itself if it's advertised for the outdoors. Anyway, So battery is connected, this is fully working now. Remove the cover from one of these thingies, and in theory, beep beep, it sees the battery. Put back the cover on it, and now push this and it should ring. Hopefully not a really loud ring. So loud enough for the inside of the house, in my opinion, with only one of them, and the other again, as I said, outside. If you want to pair more than one of these, you push on this button. The instructions tell you how to do it. I'm not sure if just once or you need to hold it longer. Be back in a second. Yeah, so you need to push it for 2 seconds. This will make a noise, and then if you have another one of these, you press on that one, and this will register also that one. So you, from 2 buttons, you can activate this, and presumably, I'm not 100% sure, but in theory it should work. We will open this and change the melody from a switch inside of this. So this is telling this what melody to actually ring. So if you have more than one button and each of them is set to a different melody, in theory at least, you know at what gate somebody pressed the button by the melody that you will hear from this. At least in theory, that's my understanding. So now let's put batteries in this, and hopefully they will both ring at the same time when I press it. So be back in a second. Batteries in, cover closed. Let's press this for the first time for this. For this it's already the second one. Yep, and they are both working now with a single button. In theory, you could pair more than one button, up to 4 of them, to more than one of these devices. So that's going to be cool. Now let's open this up. It has a clip right here, so I need to push on that clip right there and start spreading it out from the bottom and change the melody, because I don't like, honestly, the default one. Open this thing right up. It seems to have a rubber all around, and it's completely sealed apart from the lower side where we have the clip, but it's still sealed at a bit of a higher level. So the clip is left outside the seal, so you can access it without endangering the water tightness of this. So for me that is really good. I will also open up this screw and I will show you why after I do it. I want to not put a cover on this thing, basically. Come on, get out if you can somehow. Can I do it with one hand? Can I take out the PCB? I hope. I am going to do something quite interesting. This is the circuit board, if it helps anybody out there. The chip itself, not sure if you can read it. I don't think there's anything useful written onto it, honestly. There's that simple switch in here, which is the button to ring it, and another switch to change the melody. And I'm looking here to try and understand what and where they seal. Wait, what? This thing seals directly on the PCB somehow. That's not a real seal, that's just something, because it doesn't have a perfect surface to seal against. So this is, yeah, the real seal is actually here with the case, and that looks like a good seal, honestly, decent. And in here we have a LED, which is kind of sealed enough, I think, honestly, good enough for what it is. I will put some glue all around it to make sure that no water can come in around the LED, but for this I will use another thing and I will show you in a moment. As you can see, I've put glue in here and I'm going to let it dry. It's water resistant glue, it glues well to plastics, so in theory this is permanently sealed, but if I close it now, this will not be able to properly dry, so I need to leave it for 1 or 2 hours to dry directly in free air and then start closing it up. And I will put this, which is a type of grease that doesn't destroy rubber or plastics. It's very important that it doesn't destroy especially rubber, because many types of greases actually destroy rubber, melt it, dissolve it, whatever, decompose it. So this one I know from experience that it's safe for that. So yeah, I think it's silicone grease or something like that. So I will put on this a lot on the channel there and also all around these things, because water cannot directly come into this. The only way it can come into this is by surface tension and capillarity and whatnot. So it will try to go between the surfaces and stuff like that. But if this grease is there, which obviously repels water, the grease will have no way in here and we are good to go. The glue is dried. Put some of this grease in the channel of this thing, and now I will put it in place. And yes, we will need to actually remove some of the grease from this side. For sure it will continue to come out, but I prefer that to needing to put a cover on top of this thing to not get water in when it's heavy rain. Like this, the grease in the channel in there will not let water in for sure. And now I will just grease up also the edges after I set the desired tune for these things. But that will be done once I put the PCB back in place, slide it in there and push it in here. Okay. Was it this tight even before? Maybe the rubber is in the different position now. It's actually pushing on it a bit more than it was before. Anyway, we'll put the screw in here and it will hold it in place. If you need to change the battery with a screwdriver from this edge, you put it in there and then push it out and it will jump out of the holder. And to change the melodies, I already pressed once and I didn't like that one. Let's press again. Nope. What I want to mention, these two things are not exactly in sync. They have just a tiny bit of a different tempo. So if you have them close to each other, it's annoying. But for me, they will not be close to each other. So I will only hear one of them at a time. Difference in tempo will not matter. Okay, that's about it. Let's grease the rest of this seal between the two plastic parts and then clean whatever is left on the outside and hope for the best, basically. Ready to take this outside, and I'm not happy about the fact that it has a clip up top. and another one only at the bottom. Let me show you why. You can see here gaps all around. So basically having clips only at the end and no real ribs to hold this tight together, it's not staying tight together. So hopefully all that I've put in, all of the grease, will stop water from going in. If not, I'm going to buy a different one, because yeah, I don't like this. But yeah, again, I did my best to seal it and yet let it be available to be opened if I need to change the battery, because I could have just glued it all around and be done with it, but when the battery ends, what do I do? So yeah, there's that. But I hope this is enough. Something else about the volume of this particular doorbell set. Well, a phone ringing at the maximum volume, most modern phones at the maximum volume, I think it's the same or just about beats them. So they are not the loudest thing out there, and also the volume cannot be adjusted, so it's either on or off. So that was again a downside for this set, but where I went to buy it hands-on, I should have bought online, but whatever, I wanted to take a look at them, and I took a really good look. It was the only set that had anything remotely water resistant. So if this fails, I'm getting one with adjustable volume for effect, and yeah, that's that. I had to put one of them on the outside, as close as possible to the gate, in an area where water will not get to it, and I hope it will survive, because the distance needs to be really short. 100 meters, it's a joke. Maybe in a straight line without absolutely anything between them, but once you have a corner or something, it's gone. Put the second one inside the house, and it's almost a direct line to the gate, and it is ringing. The one outside, I needed to move even closer to the gate from the position that I showed you, so at another window. And when the batteries will be weaker at the button at the gate, presumably it will not even ring there. So no, this is a useless product. I genuinely tried to give it the best possible line of sight and chance, and it's still not working. So it's extremely weak. I recommend you don't buy it, honestly. It's wasted money. But I modified them, oiled them all over, greased them inside, so I cannot return them, and that's it. I will try to use them for as much as I can. But the button outside, I put it a bit rotated, and I wanted to take it off the double-sided tape, and I basically was left with the front plate, with the front plastic in my hand, and I needed to push it back. So the clip came undone just by pulling a little bit on the plastic. Useless, really bad product. I don't recommend you get them. Better pay 3 or 4 times the price, but get something that you can actually use. This will work if the person that wants to come inside your house is in the same room with you, and his or her or she are pressing the button. Otherwise, no, this is crap. And wanted to tell you, the volume for outside at least is extremely low. It's way not enough. For inside, if you put it on the hallway, maybe you will hear it, but if you listen to music a bit louder, zero chance of hearing this thing. So yep, they are totally useless. Okay, so about a week later, exactly, these things stopped working for no particular reason. I don't think it was water inside, or was it water? No, this is grease. So I don't think water got into this thing. No, they are just weak. So I don't recommend you get them, honestly, and I will have a link in the description with camera focus on what you need to, please, with a video where I make my own doorbell that handles any weather and has way more settings and whatnot. So yeah, that's about it. I don't recommend you get this thing. I don't trust it at all. And it's impossible for the batteries to be gone in less than a week. That's just stupid. Anyway, bye.